to you, and I'll give it to you in a short and sweet answer filled with truth. Ready? It's because God loves humanity so much that the love affair with an animal is set up to continue. Pets can reincarnate into the same arena, in the same area, if you want to call it, that they've lived and be found again. And those who are never found again, even by their original partners, they go on to love other humans anyway. The reason is it's for us. This is Spirit's love for us. It's for you and me. And so we can continue the love affair. Don't you love that? I have personally experienced this, and many others I know have too. And when you get your dog or cat back, you absolutely know it, complete with habits, good and bad, that the former animal had. It's really amazing, and it does work. I now understand that I deserve to have this gift of kindness from Spirit. I accept it in love.
And I think, Lee, the real key to that is that humans have a soul that are here with a test of consciousness, facing duality. Animals do not. Oh, no. So the animals we love, their energy comes back again. And the other animals, the question was, do they just re-emerge? They don't have the same soul that a human does. So I think if we make that distinction, then it becomes clearer to understand the linearity of the question.
It's such a bizarre thing, even if nobody's ever heard this. I go, you're kidding. You're kidding. Yes. I've experienced this. I know this, and so have others. And I said that in the answer, but it's absolutely true. I've got stories.
Yeah, so I think the bottom line is there is a love affair with an animal that can continue for the human. What a beautiful system. So, Lee, I think I'd like to do one last question before the meditation and channel, and I'd like to share a question and answer that came from the Kryon archives. And here is the question that was asked to Kryon. Dear Kryon, I'm wondering about magnetic fields and people. Do some people have larger magnetic fields than others? My son seems to have a magnetic energy coming out of his fingers. He can even draw on a magnadoodle. Can you shed some light on this? Okay, before we begin with Kryon's answer, yes, there are people who do not know what a magnadoodle is. And even if you had kids, you might not know. It's a magnetic drawing toy. It takes a magnet to activate the pad, and it makes dark marks on the pad. Without the magnet, you cannot make a drawing. Okay, here is Kryon's answer, and of course, Kryon knows what a magnadoodle is. So here is Kryon. It's really not magnetics that your son has. It may seem that way, but that is just a portion of a powerful energy field around him. Many can drain batteries or cause electronic equipment to malfunction and even crash computers. This is not as much magnetics as it is a very special energy from the human field. So yes, many humans have fields that are different. They are not necessarily larger, but more active, stronger. The actual size of this field is common for all and is about the same. How active the fields are, however, is the point, and that relates to the individual DNA. Many young people have this strong field naturally, since their DNA has changed, not chemically, but multidimensionally. The multidimensional aspects of your world interface with gravity and magnetics and even sound. So you can't just say magnetic field when you describe an energy. It would be like describing a perfect 440 tone in music as just sound. So a human field is far more than just magnetic. So your son is indeed affecting the drawing toy, but not in a totally magnetic way. And I think, Lee, that's a beautiful answer from the magnetic master, Kryon, about our energy field.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so let's now take a short time out for ourselves as we do a meditation and a channel. And I invite you to close your eyes and slow your breathing. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth in a beautiful, soft rhythm. And just focus on the energy of your heart. There is a field of energy around your heart that transmits beyond your body, even larger than the field of energy around your brain. And so if this field of our heart has a far larger influence than the brain, it tells us that every message we receive from the heart is the one that we can know as truth. As you tune in to this energy of the heart, you may ask this question: is it true that we are bigger than we can see and perceive in these 4 dimensions? Is it true that there is an entourage called Kryon wanting to give us messages? Is it true that these messages are here to help enhance our lives? What are the answers from your heart when we ask these questions? And so, dear Kryon, what is the next piece of information of change that you wish us to know about?
Can a human being change their own DNA? Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. And this is a big question, is it not? And of course, the answer in 3 dimensions, the answer in medical science, the answer that you've been given all your life is, of course not. That's the human genome you were born with. You can't change that. So we're taking a look at something that is exceptionally controversial, has yet to be proven in any way. My answer is yes, they can. A human, any human, all humans, have the ability to do something quite astonishing when it comes to DNA. An old paradigm of DNA says that you get what you get. All those base pairs, by the way, there are 4, they don't change. And in addition, there is an enormous amount of information not understood in DNA, but it doesn't change. And they would get that in science by saying, we measure your DNA when you're born, we measure it at your last breath, we're going to find the same DNA, therefore it doesn't change. Now we open the door. You don't know what you don't know. First of all, science has acknowledged totally that they have no idea, really, truly, what 90% of DNA really does. It seems to be an instruction manual. It doesn't control the genes of the body. It does something else completely. The jury is still out on what it actually does. So with that fact, how can any science look you in the eye and say something that is absolutely true about DNA when it's not even understood in itself? Did you get that part? If you don't understand truly what it does, how can you make statements about what it does? Or if you can change it? I'll tell you this. The thing that can change DNA is an energy that has not yet been proven to mainstream science as an energy. Do you know where I'm going with this? Human consciousness is an energy. It can move things. Human consciousness is a far grander and greater energy than you ever thought it could be. Science is starting to see this now, and certain portions of science is proving it. And the rest of science will come along eventually as it gets into that proof itself. And when you start to see that the consciousness and thoughts even of a human being are actual energy, then it's going to have structure. Energy must have structure. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy just is an animal, you might say, of itself, but it's understood. Once consciousness is seen as energy, then it becomes feasible that perhaps consciousness could change your DNA. What do you already know, everyone who's listening to this, about thoughts and consciousness? If you're angry, does your chemistry change? Do I have to explain that? Of course it does. If you're a troubled person, does disease seem to be more attractive to you or attracted to you over a long period of time? The answer is yes, and they've shown that too. A peaceful person lives longer. So the result of those statements is that your thoughts change chemistry. And you all know that already. Therefore, why is it such a stretch to think that the chemistry of your body is not then involved in your DNA? It is. Your thoughts can start to change certain chemistry that can then actually, I'm going to call it activation of certain portions of your DNA that lie dormant, ready to be activated. What a concept. Now turn the page. Have you ever heard of the term quantum biology? If you have not, you should look it up. There are quantum biologists. Now, these are the biologists who are studying the idea that all human cellular structure is multidimensional, beyond 4D. Now, that particular premise has been with you over 20 years because there's evidence that humans have the kind of chemistry, cellular structure, even DNA, which responds to multidimensional energies. If you have something that responds to multidimensional energies, the chances are it is multidimensional itself. It'd be like this. If you wondered whether a plant could hear, and you have a sound, and it responds, you know something about the plant, don't you? It's responding to sound even without ears. By the way, that's been proven as well. And so the same kinds of things with humans are showing that your DNA may actually have multidimensionality to it. In other words, part of your DNA has an added, perhaps, dimensionality that is not seen or apparently used in any way in your reality. The answer to the question that I started with, dear ones, is yes, you can change your DNA. But you're not changing it in a way that can be measured or seen with any kind of an instrument you have today that measures these things. Because it's being changed in a multidimensional way, especially one set of chromosomes that we've talked about, the ones you can't see. Oh boy. All right, Kryon, you just said it's invisible. I'm leaving the channel. Because this seems to be the answer to all metaphysical things. Well, it's there, but you can't see it. What if that's true? Can you see all dimensions? Answer me that. You answer me. Yes or no? And the answer is, well, no. And what if it was multidimensional? As I've just told you, DNA probably is. Therefore, there could be some things that are not visible. One of them is the 24th pair of chromosomes. You don't have 23. Everything is in groups of 4 in this universe, in nature, in all things, and so is your DNA. The 24th set is multidimensional, ready, waiting to be activated by consciousness. And here's where it gets good. Welcome to the shift. The shift is upon you, and we've said this now for 34 years. I said it was coming, and now it's here, and the shift is where humanity is starting to awaken to more complete truths. And part of that is your ability to change yourself, an examination into your soul, an examination of what spirituality really might mean, not a doctrine, but a reality of your own soul. This is where humans start to change. And you start to see it first in compassion, in kindness, in what humans want together. And it has nothing to do with religion. Have you seen changes on the earth where there are starting to be grand objections to dysfunction, war, unfairness? Have you? It's the first time in history that it's taken hold, isn't it? What does that tell you about human consciousness? And in the process of that awakening, there are parts and pieces of your DNA that are starting then to change and to respond. And what does that mean? And what does it do? What's the bottom line of a changing DNA? Oh boy, what a question. And here is the answer. Compassion, kindness, longer life, more inventions, smarter human beings, more compassionate human beings, less dysfunction. You want the list to continue? This is the future of humanity. And I told you it was coming. It comes way too slow for you, for me. It has to happen generationally, over periods of time, where parents start realizing what they're teaching their children or what they're saying to their children. That's the first part. So the children will start to grow up without the programming of what they can't do, or so many other things that are not even real. There is a big dysfunction going on still on this planet of what you really think is real or truth. That is starting to change. Can a human being actually change their DNA? Yes. And it's being done right under your noses, and you don't have to be a spiritual person to do it. It's happening almost automatically as humans start this amazing transformation of consciousness, and they start to see a bigger picture of who they are, what things are about, what they can do, what consciousness truly is, what multidimensionality might mean. And that's when the inventions start. The ones where inner guidance and the little invention fairy seems to tap many humans on the shoulder all at once on the world and say, take a look at this. You didn't think of this, did you? And that's where it gets good. The lack of poverty, feeding every single human who's hungry, power for everyone, water for everyone, that is all there. It's already there. And starting to be activated, multidimensionality is there in your cellular structure, in your DNA, going right to your brain. Dear ones, welcome to the beginning of a new earth. I'm Kryon, in love with humanity, and for good reason. And so it is.
And following that wonderful, uplifting message from Kryon, I invite you now to bring your awareness back into your body. And if you've had your eyes closed, I invite you now to open your eyes and be fully present as we move to the next part of the program, where we are joined again by an absolutely delightful woman who is just a powerhouse of energy and joy. Her name is Dee Wallace, and I want to make sure she's on the Zoom feed with us. Dee, are you there?
I'm here. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're so happy to have you back. Absolutely.
I want to tell you, if you don't know who Dee Wallace is, she is an internationally known actress. Now listen to this. Listen up. I can't remember ever saying these things. 250 film credits.
I mean, wow.
She's been in 6 series, and she's done over 400 commercials. Folks, you know her. In this culture, you have to. She's best known, however, and this will get your attention, for her role as the mother in Steven Spielberg's E.T. She's appeared on every major network and talk show, including Oprah and even the Today Show. I'll just stop right there and pause for a moment. What else could we say about her besides that? Well, this is where it even gets better. Dee Wallace has been a force for over 30 years in spiritual communities everywhere, teaching people the creation process. That's what we're going to talk about today and tonight, and how to manifest their heart's desires. Dee is a strong advocate for accepting, at a very early age, our own magnificence and power in a positive, loving way. She realized that a child's personality is set, absolutely set, between 0 and 8 years of age, which has a direct impact on the creation of their lives.
So Dee has not only been a working actress, which she still is, as well as guiding us on the self-creation process, but she's authored 6 books on the subject of self-creation, and she conducts a live call-in internet radio show each Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So Dee conducts private sessions from her home in Woodland Hills, California, via phone and in person. And we are so excited. I think she may have even added to that book list. Welcome to the program again, Dee, and tell us about your latest book and everything that's been happening.
Well, thank you for that beautiful introduction. It makes me feel very old or iconic, and I'm going to pick number 2. Yes, my latest book is Born, Giving Birth to a New You. And I wrote it because of all the thousands and thousands of private sessions I've done. I really started seeing that people talked about the creation process. They study a lot about the creation process. They read a lot about the creation process, and we do not live the creation process. Now, a lot of my work is a beautiful combination of religion, spirituality, and brain science, all of which are really saying the same thing. We were taught and put on this plane to learn and practice free will and to experience our own power in our own creation. So the very, very first thing that you have to do if you want to create anything is know what you want. And that sounds really easy. And I'm telling you, maybe 1 out of every 100 private I do really know what they want. they're all very clear about what they don't want. I can go out and talk and have somebody come to the stage and go, okay, what do you want? I don't want to have to worry about money so much. Good. What do you want? Well, I don't want to be stressed out about money. Good. What do you want? This can go on literally for 20 minutes until they get so upset with me. They go, God, I want more